trying my new camera, and I made one video in Farsi, and my head was kind of missing, or most of it was missing in that video. So let's see if this one works out. I want to make some video about some ideas or practices. These are mostly like Sufi practices, but they have analogs in or similarities to some of the other practices that people have been doing in the United States and other countries too. Well, I call this video the Hassan's cult of happiness, which is kind of like a catchy name, but you know, I had a lot of customers when I was a cabbie, and later on at work. And what's happening right now in the United States is that a lot of people have a problem with depression, which is like I think depression is worse than type 1 diabetes, like, because with type 1 diabetes, which is what I got, there is tons of ways of dealing with it. I could take insulin, I could get a very sophisticated insulin pump, I could do a lot of things, but with depression and with negative emotions like anger, shame, there's a lot of them. They are difficult to get rid of, and people they really don't have the toolkit of dealing with all this crap that somebody gave it to them, or they collected on the way to where we are now, or I don't know. My way of dealing with these negative emotions and also achieving happiness it has to do with Sufism. A lot of it comes from Muslim or Sufi practices, and if you look at some of the practices, they're really very good for mental health. Actually, the very first one that a lot of Muslims, they know about this, and we also practice in the Sufi school, is that if you look at Quran, the chronology of Quran, the way it's written, okay, when you open the book, the front, which is the Surah Al-Hamd, which means the chapter on giving thanks, okay. So it's a very, it's kind of short surah or chapter, and then comes the Surah Al-Baqarah, which means nicknamed the cow, okay. So the Al-Baqarah, the surah, it begins with these words, these Hazal Kitab La Rayba Fihe, which means this is the book that there can never be any doubts in this book. What you read in the book is absolute truth, the total truth. Is Hazal Kitab. And well, in the spiritual way of looking at it, means Kitab means your own soul, your own essence. Hazal Kitab, this is the real book. La Rayba Fi. When you have this spiritual experience, you can't have any doubts about it because it happened in your own soul. That's the spiritual meaning of Al-Baqarah, the first few sentences, the first few words. But before the Al-Baqarah starts, then there is the surah of giving thanks, okay. But that also has a spiritual meaning, which means that when you're giving thanks, that means that you are already happy, of whatever that has happened, whatever wealth or whatever family situation or relationship that you have acquired, you're very contented with it already, and then you're giving thanks. Then when you give thanks, you get over this whole drama, then you can begin your spiritual journey from the beginning of the Surah Al-Baqarah, the cow. You follow what I'm saying? It's like there is a reason why this surah is first, and then comes the next surah, and why there's the first few words are like that. You know what I mean? So this is like a hint of how to maintain or streamline your own mental health, which means that you need happiness. If you don't have that, then you really cannot start your spiritual journey, because you got all this trash, all these baggages that you don't know what to do with, and you're like cluttering your life. So, but then the next question would be, how do you achieve happiness? And there is some sentences from the Sufi master. It says that whatever God gives you, there is a reason that God gave you that thing, because it's a test or a struggle that helps you grow, and you are to be thankful for whatever struggle that you had to go through to get here. Those were a test. They were not an end thing, a desired thing. So not to be attached to them or think of them as significant. The other thing I can tell you about the mental health is another friend I had. He was asking some questions about careers and stuff. I told him, okay, those people that are very successful, and they have one thing in common, and you can totally verify this, is that they're all doing things that they totally love. There is no misgivings, there is no second thinking, like I'm making films about spirituality or Sufism. I totally love this field. I do acting. I totally love acting. And, I do math. I totally love math. You follow what I'm saying? This is because this is really important, because you're able to give all of yourself without any kind of something else going on, or negative emotions. All right. So this is one thing. And then also there is another test that you can recognize people who are extremely successful. Why is this? I told him, for example, if you wanna see what is it that these people have all in common, is you go into Google Images and pick out in any field that you can. For example, like I do acting, you pick out the superstars, people who they've been in many films that have achieved awards, like the top models. That there isn't one better than her. Okay, you go kind of browse through their pictures, and I guarantee you that you'll see one thing they all have. You'll see that on their faces, they all have this very broad and very sincere smile, or their mouth is just wide open, and the happiness is just oozing out. Okay, so this is key. This is a so if you are already happy and you're already doing things that you sincerely love and care about, and you're not conflicted, none of that stuff. There's no misgivings, there's no shame, there's no depression, there's nothing. You're just doing what you want and you're very happy about it. Then you become immensely successful too. As you can see from the chronology of the surahs in Quran, then you can also begin in the first sentence of Surah Al-Baqarah, the cow, that you can experience or have spiritual experiences and go on your spiritual journey. Okay, so when things go, if you miss out in this sequence something, then you got problems, and you need to kind of put things in a nice chronology. Okay. Also, then this brings out stuff that has to do with other spiritual experiences. Well, I do like necromancy. I don't know if you're familiar with the term. That means that I'm kind of communicate with the dead, and this started after my dad passed away. But the ghost that I want to tell you a chronology of what things happen after death. After death, the the people realize that they have an etheric body, which is almost the same. It looks closely to the physical body, and then there is a second death where the etheric body dies too, and this can happen when you are alive. And the Sufis or the mystics, they call this annihilation, because this ghost disappears, okay, and becomes annihilated in the universal consciousness. And then the Christians, they call the stage after this, they call this eternal life, because the ghost lives through this eternal consciousness. Okay, so this is the chronology. But when somebody dies and they died suddenly, they were doing a lot of stuff that they really liked. They were attached to their wife or to the land or to their profession or to kids. Then there is a hang up, and this ghost is coming back and constantly trying to resolve or fix this issue. Okay, that's where necromancy comes in, because the ghost initiates this communication. It's not usually the medium that wants this communication. It's the ghost. It's trying to come back. But for a medium to contact the ghost, all she has to do, or in my case, all he has to do, is to think of something this person had or was attached, or think of his face or something like that. And this is like it's sending a signal for this person to come. So even at the later stages, being happy and realizing, fulfilling that passion, then it helps a person to get over it, to get beyond that desire, because you already fulfilled it. For example, if I fell for this girl, she was real pretty when I was in college, okay? So I knew she likes me too, but things didn't work out, and we just got separated. So, but the problem is that I had a passion and I could not fulfill this passion. Then now I'm here, like what, 25 years later, I'm still, over there. I'm going back. I'm back trying to see, hey, I need a time machine here. I want to go back and fix that, but you really can't. So, but the concept of pursuit of happiness and becoming fulfilled by it, it helps you to resolve and be able to go on your journey. But also, this is very valuable in dealing with mental health issues, depression. Um, Also, the Sufi master talks about hatred and misgivings. That some people they were wrong that when they were alive, and then when they died, their soul has trouble trying to go on because all this stuff that went on, and they couldn't fix it. And then also the Sufi master was saying about that the what is in your head, the memory that you have, is can is like something that your mind has constructed. It doesn't have reality anymore. It is not real, and there is no way for me to go back 25 years and try to see how my failed romance would have been, even though I want to. I don't know. I think the fact that I'm a very happy person, and there isn't a lot that I want to do differently. I don't have a lot of misgivings except my ex-wife. No, I want to forgive her, but the misgivings and the hang-ups, they're not very good. I think I have like a certain kind of wealth that I can kind of get on with it and be contented with what I already have done, and just do a little bit more, see how things can get better. Okay, yeah, I'll be making my own cult, and then I'll tell you where you can send your donations, okay? Or you can join me. But I will give you a better membership if you're a nice tall blonde, okay? Have a nice day.